Very short amount of time, going to be starting things out here on Control Center.
So, our grand finals at long last. One of these two teams will be the best, will be the winner of the Pacific Showdown and take their spot atop all of Asia Pacific.
You better believe the eyes of the world are on these two teams, on the individual members, on the team play, on everything. So much rides on this, so much pride goes into this one match.
Both teams rolling out quick rotation onto the point here for O2 Blast. Element Mystic are out the gate with just a Sombra Goats. No Doomfist yet.
And they played Doomfist the other time around. Didn't go as well as maybe they hoped. So this time, relying on Sparkle for Zarya instead, O2 Blast immediately taking point pressure. As the point does unlock, you expect Element Mystic to walk in.
Look for Doha as well to start charging up that ultimate. Even if O2 Blast get this cap, if they don't get too much percentage before Doha's got an EMP, that's the window in.
And they're waiting. It's nearly 50 now, but how much longer can you wait? Myeongbong's nearly got the nano. And I think O2 Blast looking for potential picks. Alpha's trying to step in.
As it's to step up to the side, Myeongbong keeping line of sight, leads himself a bit vulnerable, so he takes some chunks. And suddenly Element Mystic are barreling on to an O2 Blast. He's ready, very much the worst for wear. Huge EMP, all 6 members. Only one ultimate would have been available in spite of that. And that is a massive commit and a massive cleanup for Element Mystic.
And honestly, EM got a lot of early damage. And again, look at Kaiser's HP. O2 Blast starting to back out of there, losing the neutral damage fight. And as it happens, realizing cannot give up this point too early, wants to come back into contest. As it's happening, Doha lands a 6-man EMP. This death will cost him a little bit of time, cost Element Mystic a little bit of point pressure, and O2 Blast know it, they want to push in.
This is great for O2 Blast. They haven't given up too much percentage if they're able to get a good quick fight here. Immediately now boosting Kaiser. Does telegraph the play a little bit, but they're still able to find Unique in spite of this Graviton surge.
Push on the side.
Sparkle, that's brilliant. Alpha is done so there, and O2 Blast looking poised to re-grab here without really losing too much progress on the point.
Rare mistake from Element Mystic just to cost someone's life super early. Doha going down 5 versus 6. Unique tries to save the point somehow. He wants to go around, maybe get a boop onto Kaiser, gets himself implicated. Alpha gets booped off the edge by Krong, and O2 Blast sitting super comfortable, expending only a nano boost, sitting on 5 other ultimates, and Doha severely behind compared to what we know him for.
The economy is looking just super healthy here for O2 Blast.
You're expecting now Doha to get a little bit more EMP charge. Alpha as well, looking for potential.
Early grab, Sparkle's down, nice catch there with fire to grenade. Myeongbong really popping off there. Alpha now down as well, so O2 Blast just leaning into the ultimates they had at their disposal, only having to use 2 for the fight.
Element Mystic just going to walk away from this one. They didn't lose too much regards to players and still have some ultimates coming online. Doha's the big one once again. Decent deficit in terms of the actual point control though, 70% to 33. O2 Blast still have Kaiser with the Shatter. Element Mystic looking for entry.
This is going to be about as close to an even fight as Element Mystic can get here. It's a pretty decent setup. Nice hack on Kaiser, he's in trouble, has the back way out. He's a very critical ultimate. By the time he's back in, he's still on low health, probably not going to be able to commit that Earth Shatter unless things start picking up for them. EMP still a factor here from Doha. There's the Shatter from Kaiser right into Alpha's shield, but he's still going to push in with the nano boost on him. They've found Alpha, and they're just going to keep Kaiser in this lead on him as much as they can. Proper as well, drilling the damage out, finds a grab, commits it, pops Doha. The EMP wasn't able to get the mileage the Element Mystic needed, an O2 Blast at 99% to finish off the fight here and take first blood on the Zhengtao.
Huge opening plays from O2 Blast, saving the point as well. Speaking of saving, Alpha's going to try his best one. Kaiser's happy with this. It's going to be all smiles as they walk onto round number 2, 100 to 33. And for Element Mystic as well, just kind of slow on the trigger pull. Undying had that Transcendence, couldn't save enough members. Doha tried to get that last EMP in to secure the point over. Mandu had the counter, avoided the EMP, pushed the sound barrier through, and Proper, we know him to be able to save games, drops the Graviton Surge, insane damage output, and they're able to continue the cap, get that 100, and take the lead.
Between him and Kaiser, they really managed to keep that fight alive just when it was looking so dicey. Kaiser getting so low there. And it's so hard to look at this O2 Blast team without feeling that that tank lineup is central to them.
We still haven't seen the Doomfist yet. Sparkle now starting out on the Zarya again. This was where we saw a decent amount of Doomfist last time around. Maybe Element Mystic are just testing the waters, seeing what O2 Blast are capable of versus the Sombra Goats first. It is a first to 4, so time to play with certainly in the overall series, but look at this early damage.
Yeah, early chip damage means Doha finds easy pickings on the back line, and now it's just all about following that up, absolutely demolishing O2 Blast. So opportunistic as well, but really excellent setup to get the spam damage in the rotation.
And once they get the key members out, you see how fast Element Mystic just run for Proper, knowing that that's probably the safety net for O2 Blast. If he's gone, then what, that should be O2 Blast crumbling, and with that, the point's going to go over super quick. Doha sleep for the time being. See if he can get himself alive. Doesn't look like it.
Nope.
Oh, wow!
That's a Houdini right there. Slips out from in front of Kaiser before the charge connects with any kind of map geometry. That's incredible.
Alpha's actually sitting at about an Earth Shatter now. He's going to get the first ultimate of the game, and usually that's Doha, but he's spending a bit of time napping.
Yep.
Kaiser half HP.
Doha's going to have it before long at this rate.
Wow.
Catch on Pelican might not even need ultimates at this rate. Kaiser's taking the heat. He's not going to be able to retreat safely. The rest of O2 Blast is trying to run for the hills. Krong knows it's not going to happen. Takes a cliff dive. Myeonbong does the same, and Proper just gets finished off the old-fashioned way.
And O2 Blast just failing to capitalize here. Couldn't take down Doha when it mattered. Couldn't secure that 6v5, which opened up the point on Night Market, by the way. And after starting to walk up, just losing members super quickly, they're always down 1 or 2 before the fight even really begins. Doha now definitely does have the EMP. Alpha still hasn't had to use the Earth Shatter, and O2 Blast are not really looking that much better.
The thing, they didn't have to use anything. In fact, Element Mystic, they could be getting a full Christmas tree. O2 Blast decide that they could just get aggressive. Maybe they'll find a pick. Earth Shatter's huge, absolutely massive from Alpha, and such a clean up. They do commit the EMP as well, but that was smooth sailing.
And that's about the combo, right? EMP into Earth Shatter. Kaiser cannot hold up a shield, neither can Pelican. And suddenly the whole team for O2 Blast on their backs. There is no sound barrier available just yet from Mandu. Anna being played by Myeonbong as well means no Zenyatta with the Transcendence, so they are very weak to EMP when it's available. And guess what? Doha playing Sombra means EMP is available all the time.
There was technically a 2-for-1, only Myeonbong uses ultimate, so that could be a window potentially for O2 Blast. Stuck at the grab for now, Proper's low. They're gonna get the D-Mag, double shatter out! That's another big one from Alpha, who has already charged his ultimate back up, would you believe, after having a hugely impactful one in the prior fight. And again, it is gonna be an easy clean up for Element Mystic. O2 Blast not even really getting to the point for the majority of that fight. Overtime ticking away now, and Element Mystic hit back hard.
And that's off the back of Sparkle's Graviton Surge as well. Alpha swinging in the middle, gets his own Earth Shatter super fast. Kaiser's not really expecting this one. They both throw it out there. Alpha's one just a little bit better, allowing Element Mystic to get this clean 100-0, but it all went wrong very early on for the side of O2 Blast, and just no real redemption there. Maybe got one real fight, because every other fight was just a couple of members picked off early, didn't want to take the 4v6, constant resets. Doha was fairly quiet outside of a few EMPs, and even beyond that, Sparkle and Alpha stepped up big.
Moving now into Control Center, all tied up. We've actually seen this happen a lot in Control this tournament. Tied up 1-1. Can O2 Blast repeat their earlier success?
I think resetting this a little bit, starting neutral. We know they're strong in the neutral. Looking at where Doha's going to be. Already kind of found out. You look at the early damage pressure on him.
Trying to move in. Doha also wants to get that ult charge up. Element Mystic taking a lot of pressure, so again, O2 Blast should be able to establish presence on the point.
Kaiser is hacked though, so maybe Element Mystic will find an opportunity.
Stun as well. It's going to be okay for now. Sparkle's taking some pain though. They're going to have to back out. Does not survive the back out. Kaiser fighting him with the fire strike. And Element Mystic at the back off while the cat goes to O2 Blast. Ooh, good catch on Doha.
Well protected by O2 Blast as well. While Kaiser is hacked out and Element Mystic want to push in. The bubbles from Proper protecting him. Heals being pumped in as well. O2 Blast making sure it's not going to be a 5v6 deficit. Doha's on the high ground trying to do as much damage and ult charge as he can. Eventually goes down. Will slow him down a decent amount. And for O2, collecting the early cap and the early lead is so important.
This is kind of like what happened on Night Market, where Element Mystic will rely on Doha's EMP. That also didn't actually work out for them in the long run anyway, so...
Myeonbong's ready, so is Kaiser.
Very much so. Doha can connect an EMP, he hasn't even got it yet actually, but if he can get it, especially on Myeonbong, that's really what they're looking for.
They're playing safe as well. No Anna means they really value the defense versus the EMP. Kaiser's maybe in trouble.
Ooh, he's very much in trouble. Nice timing on the Transcendence, preempting the EMP, but it didn't save Kaiser. Keeps the rest up, but they need to keep Proper alive. He's down. Nice target selection from Element Mystic. really keeping a lid on the playmakers of O2 Blast in the fight.
It's a slow retake here. It's 50% and counting, 54 with the total. And O2 Blast, they got a decent lead in that regard. That wasn't the best fight for them. At least they collected, or at least they kept some of these decent ultimates. Mandu still has Sound Barrier, Doha freshly out of EMP. Should be opportunity for O2 Blast to push in, despite just losing. And Element Mystic still got a lot of catch-up to do in terms of actual percentage points on the cap.
Again, I'm reminded of Night Market. And this one took even longer for Doha to get that first EMP. Speaking of, though, hack onto Kaiser, so no shadow for the time being, but the grab will connect. Now, can they get anything? Alpha's counter shadow didn't really help them out. Let's get the huge shadow from Kaiser. And what did I say about O2 Blast and playmakers? They couldn't keep a lid on either of them this time. The pop boils over, and O2 Blast re-grabbed the point.
This is a man who sleeps with his eyes open, where you connect the dots and you look at him straight in the face. He's going to land this insane shadow. We call it Eye of the Kaiser because he simply sees the plays as Orion better than any other Ryan can. He sees the plays that others simply do not. And for Element Mystic now, straight up on their back, still in a deficit. O2 Blast in the lead.
Someone ought to make a montage of him landing huge shatters to that Shanghai and Tiger. EMP out though from Doha here. Can they turn it around? Not at all. Not even close, baby. Myeonbong too quick on the Transcendence. And O2 Blast finding the kills now, passing the 80% mark.
Now this is now getting quite scary for Element Mystic. If EMP isn't going to do the trick, they need to rely on other resources, but they don't have time to get the resource in there. Sparkle, 50% on the grab, not good enough. Doha, 6%, don't even talk about that just yet. O2 Blast don't have anything, but they have the point.
Certainly not over till it's over, but this could be O2 Blast finally getting a map of Element Mystic after losing the last 7 exchanges between these two teams. What can O2 Blast do here, though? They could kill Handman for one thing. That's a good start.
Where's Undyne? There he is.
Takes pressure, but Alpha is down. O2 Blast, they're well ahead in this fight. Element Mystic coming close to some ultimates, but with the Transcendence run out, Undyne's dead. Sparkle's got to toss the grab out as a last-ditch attempt, but they cannot follow up on it. O2 Blast have finally usurped Element Mystic, and they will take first blood in our grand finals.
And O2 Blast, ever since week 5 of Contenders Korea, have not been able to take a single map off of Element Mystic. They've now doubled their map win rate versus them from 1 to 2, and that was a very well played series overall on Lijiang Tower for O2 Blast as well. Look at them, they know what they're doing now. They're feeling much better about this opening, but for EM as well, we spoke about this as we went into Lijiang, testing the waters here. Still have not seen the Sparkle Doomfist. Just checking where do O2 Blast sit in this match, because going into map number 2, I am expecting Sparkle to go to the next level too.
And that does kind of feel like you said, the next level, right? This isn't arguably final boss Element Mystic yet. O2 Blast, look, they've met Element Mystic on this level. Can they themselves meet Element Mystic on that next level?
You see Krong towards the end there, keeping an eye on Doha. Sparkle maybe eventually gets the grab, a little bit too late. Undyne playing just a little too conservatively as well. 2 members went down, main tank Alpha included. Finally, the Transcendence comes into play, but it just isn't enough. And this was, by the way, O2 Blast not having a single ultimate available to themselves, just maintaining point control, finding early damage leads, and capitalizing on that was enough to take down Control Center and all of Lijiang.
That middle map, though, did look a little rough for O2 Blast. Might need to address some things there.
We'll see if they do when we go to the break and return. Pacific Showdown, the grand finals, does continue. Welcome back once again to the Pacific Showdown here. We're in the grand finals. O2 Blast up 1 map versus their opponent's Element Mystic here. And this is already a very interesting beginning because we did say Element Mystic strong favorites. O2 Blast want to rewrite the script.
Yeah, I was going to say after, a bit of history being beaten down by Element Mystic, you saw those O2 Blast fans in the audience probably feeling pretty happy by now. This is already a bit of a shake-up. Look, it is certainly not all over yet. And just before the break, we were talking about that next level for Element Mystic, but this is a promising start.
And I wanted to see O2 take a map within the first 3 because that would give them some confidence to say, okay, this is doable. It's not just some monkey on our back now, some curse being lifted, to say, that is going to be one map in their favor, gives them a little bit of leeway as well, some buffer to play with later on in the series. If they went down in an 0-3 fashion, we haven't seen a reverse sweep. I don't think we will see a reverse sweep, and I certainly think EM will be fighting back pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, so this is already looking very, very tight as we move on further forward. Element Mystic going to be picking the map, and I'll tell you, it's not something they've had to do a whole lot. They've had to do it once against T1W, and that's been it for the course of this tournament. So curious to see what they'll pick. Or rather, I'm curious to see them pick Kings Row.
Yeah, right? Take it to Kaiser's hometown. But I actually think Element Mystic has a decent win rate across the board at Kings Row anyway. As the champion, you'd expect them across the board for basically every map to have a pretty high win rate.
Yep.
But at the same time, you need to start maybe unlocking the Sparkle Doomfist here. Haven't seen it at all in Lijiang Tower as a reminder. So moving forward, that has been their bread and butter composition. I am still kind of theorizing here that the reason we didn't see it on Lijiang, despite seeing it on other Lijiang matchups that they've played in this tournament, is because they were kind of testing the waters versus O2, and now they know the temperature, they can get in.
They try to keep it as a bit of an ace up their sleeve, but if they do roll it out, you kind of consider that now it does have to be that ace up their sleeve. If it falters, if it flounders, if it doesn't have the impact that they're maybe hoping, then, well, what have you really got left here, Element Mystic? Maybe O2 Blast really have leveled up.
And O2 Blast thinking about this quickly as well, very carefully. They just came off a 3-0 win versus T1W. That included Kings Row in that lineup of maps as well. Was a very decent map by them. It did go to Time Bang, but outside of that, this should be somewhat of a different kind of matchup. You're not expecting at all for Element Mystic to go and match 3-3 Goat's Mirror. Doha's not really going to swap in this entire tournament. We said the same thing about Hacker, but when push came to shove, LGE on the third and final map and the kind of final stages there kind of got desperate. I don't see Element Mystic getting that desperate just yet.
O2 Blast as well, they will be pretty doggedly sticking to 3-3 here, we can imagine. And we do kind of say that after Control, you kind of move into smoother waters for that asymmetric 3-3 matchup, generally speaking. I think against EM, it can be a bit of a different beast because of the Sombra Doomfist, but that's only if they run it here. There is a world where, heck, you maybe even favor O2 Blast coming into Hybrid, whatever the map may be.
And based on their performance in the past, I would think they have a decent hold, they have a decent grasp of how Kings Row is meant to be played. I also do want to see if maybe they'll put Krong into something else because he's been their other flex player. We've spoken about this guy already on the Diva. He also plays a Sombra for the team, he also plays a Hanzo for the team, and the Hanzo is this kind of flex specialty pick specifically versus a Sombra matchup. So on Kings Row, this could be somewhere you do see that in O2 Blast, despite being a team that we describe as kind of 3-3 Goats favored, they do also have options themselves, and of course, Kaiser's Row is back in play. Yep, it's 10 out of 10.
I was going to say, that is absolutely flawless stats there. Kings Row has an impeccable win rate in the hybrid matchup.
Someone has always won on Kings Row.
Yeah,
100% wins rate.
No, I mean like Kings Row always wins over the other hybrid map.
That's also true.
So it's, 100% win rate for this tournament. In all seriousness though, all that we've been talking about with the compositional potential, I think it's also worth re-highlighting as we come into this because you talked about Krong's flexibility. Also, him on the Diva right now has been phenomenal at shutting down Doha.
That's going to be required because he is a bit of an issue when he is allowed to do what he wants to do. The EMPs come and they come very quickly, but you start to see towards most of the Lijiang Tower, I would say that Doha actually had just normal EMPs. It's normal for everyone else that's a Sombra player, not normal for him because he gets it much quicker.
That's the thing. So far, O2 Blast have done a good job of slowing him down and see if they can continue that. Checking for an entry frag with the Widowmaker.
Gumball looks like he wants to change here, looking like a Zen. And again, this is respect to Doha and the EMP. The reason you see the Zen Ana sort of coin flip here is you have the Ana to play for everything that outside the EMP. That is because there's no Diva on the field, so you can land all your skill shots, but when there's an EMP, you want that Transcendence, and they really do care about the Transcendence.
Myeonbong's also had an incredible day on Zenyatta so far as well, so there might even be an element where he's just like, guys, I feel like my Zen is better, let's roll with that. But at any rate, O2 Blast already, speaking of roll, pushing right onto the point, trying to keep a lid on Element Mystic. One tick already.
Look at this, Krong is just keeping tabs on Doha so confident. And Pelican now taking a bit of damage. O2 though do have point control for now, do have a couple of picks, ticks rather.
Yeah, this is usually where Doha would have an EMP and they push back in. Instead, they're just going to have to go with nothing, but they do find Kaiser. No counter trade, finding Alpha, but not before Pelican is dropped. And they might not have the EMP just yet, can have it soon. The fight's already going to be over by the time they have it though. And Element Mystic will repel O2.
And as the offense crumbles and Kaiser is down, the shield is gone, Doha finds a ton of damage rather, and he's able to get this EMP super quickly afterwards. Struggled, but to be fair, this is still in the territory of one fight, so on par you'd have to say for Element Mystic on this defense.
That was decent though for O2 Blast to at least walk away with the 2 ticks there. They've still got about 2.5 minutes to get to the remainder, but they are behind in the ultimate economy.
We need to see Myeonbong get this Transcendence ASAP because Doha goes in, they're going to be in big trouble. He also needs to hide. Positioning is also key.
Doha's looking to set that one up. Kaiser's already taking a lot of pain, and as soon as the EMP lands, he's done for. Can't keep the shield up, can't retreat. And Myeonbong's Transcendence, quick as it is, won't save Kaiser. Good trade on Unique, but honestly, this is still looking great for Element Mystic, especially as they demech Krong and finish off Myeonbong. And again, preserving so many ultimates. Only 2 used here.
And you see Element Mystic just go in the middle there, split O2 in half. Myeonbong's caught on the other side, out of position, unfortunately, using the Transcendence, so feeling safe about swapping back onto Ana. If he feels like the Zen is not doing enough, and certainly after using Transcendence, not being able to save Kaiser, not winning the fight for the team, thinking, okay, well, let's just play into the EMP. I will try and win this game with the skill shots instead.
It's going to be a sound barrier to answer the grab, counter grab as well, and a sound barrier for that one. Nice shadow though out from Alpha, and that's what the defense is going to be predicated upon here for Element Mystic. Again, just driving O2 Blast back, recharging that EMP. And
this is kind of the unsung hero of the team because we're looking at so many key players on the Element Mystic side, and Alpha in this particular matchup and throughout the couple of days of the tournament has started to really come into his own. He's up against Kaiser, one of the better known Ryans in the world, one of the better known Ryans specifically in this tournament. Alpha's really, really coming alive.
They also want to make a lot out of Myeonbong's Ana pick here. Want to get some good Bardock grenades, look for the pick potential. If they can maybe do that, then this ultimate do too much for Element Mystic.
So this is the time where there is an EMP, so Ana not going to be too useful as we do see it go in.
Self-destruct is kind of tossed up, and Krong won't get anything. Kaiser already drilled down, priority target and proper hack as well. They have not got that same playmaking potential that we talk so much about for O2.
And this is just status normal for Element Mystic. You see Kaiser's just not able to use an Earthshatter. Consistently knocked aside, consistently hacked out, not allowed to play the game. Less than 30 seconds remaining now. O2 Blast have run dry on basically all ultimates outside of Earthshatter, and Element Mystic sitting pretty, looking at 3.
Sparkle's sitting in a real cute spot to toss and grab out. Not really much they can do to answer except for that bio grenade, but Proper is just in front of the shield of Kaiser. Tries to get a counter shatter, it's decent, but can they follow it up? Krong is over on the point, meanwhile, just so that they get some overtime here, but he will get demech, won't quite finish Sparkle either, and goes down. Gonna be hard to reinforce. O2 Blast have the closest spawn, but Kaiser touches the point, immediately dies. The 1 kill they had got on Alpha might have been something if they kept some members alive, but they will not. And 2 ticks is all O2 Blast will walk away from.
And Kaiser finally gets to use an Earthshatter, by the way, but it's too late. Alpha got there first. He used his one first. They got Proper down quite quickly as well. Sparkle heads up play there, drops the grab in the middle at that choke point, not allowing them to touch the point in time. Krong has to try and run for it as soon as the grab is over. Proper, you can see, is just slightly outside of the shield that Kaiser's holding up, so completely exposed, easily taken down. And for O2 Blast, it's just all in shambles this time around. They're celebrating after Lee Jung, but King's Row, another story.
Yeah, and it does seem like Element Mystic have just kind of put a foot on the gas. If anything, actually, you're more reminded of Gardens on Lee Jung Tower. Let's not forget that was a 100-0 shutout for Element Mystic. And O2 Blast on that map looks similarly lost, just behind in the macro game, not getting anything out of their ultimates, getting very consistently shut down.
What concerns me more is Myeongbong, one of the key players of the team, one of the better performing, if not the best performing flex support players here. is kind of struggling to find out, or rather the team in general, struggling to decide what is the appropriate play here, what is the appropriate hero. Is it the Zen? Do we really respect the EMP, or is it the Ana? Do we not respect the EMP, and we're looking for ways to win the game outside of when we do get EMP'd? And neither of those options really coming up heads for them, and that's a bit of an issue, because moving forward, Doa's just going to keep playing the Sombra. He's going to keep getting the EMP up there, and if Krong can't keep him down, then Doa's going to keep playing. And Krong also can't just look at Doa the whole time.
Been a bit night and day here with Myeonbong on the Ana pick. When he's not getting those Bionades, when he's not getting those critical sleeps, you don't get quite as much out of him. Element Mystic is going to roll out, same composition. Sombra Goats, O2 Blast, 3-3, Myeonbong on the Ana.
And when Element Mystic, if they win this one, it's going to be insane, because Sparkle Soul has not played any Doomfist. Early hacking to Myeonbong means O2 Blast want to back out.
They just want to waste EM's time. The thing is, Doha, he doesn't mind taking time.
Keep an eye on his charge, he's almost 50%.
It's nuts.
We've barely played this game. O2 Blast have got nothing.
It's a situation normal for Element Mystic. When O2 Blast aren't shutting down Doha, aren't slowing him down, this is what happens.
Look at the sleep.
Good sleep on Unique. They're able to get the kill as well. That's good connection. Plus that biotic grenade still there, and Hanbin means they're in full retreat. Stun on Alpha, they'll finish him. Doa's off to the side, gonna have to try and translocate for safety. No, he's gonna stealth away, stick on the other side, while O2 Blast cleaning up the rest of his teammates.
So this is the Myeonbong we've been waiting to see in the series so far, or at least in King's Row so far. Threads the needle, the sleep duct finds Unique, and then lands the Bionade on a couple of them, Unique and Hanbin included. That means Element Mystic can't really do anything to kind of counteract that play. Hanbin can't go in and try and get a stun. Alpha's then implicated shortly afterwards, and O2 Blast finds such a great opening off the back of that. It does, however, allow Doha to get this EMP charged up, because he wasn't part of that scramble, he wasn't part of the brawl, he was off to the side and he was shooting down.
Because he's Doha, because he's got it so fast, Mandu is nowhere near a sound barrier that they would need as a counter to it, or at least a safety net to it.
Let's take a look at the rest of them as well. Still looking at Nano Bruce. Probably put that one on either Prophet or Kaiser. Kaiser certainly needs to stay alive, because he's been targeted. Number one, look at this!
What were you just saying, man? And now already dead, haven't even needed the EMP. They just want to drill down. Nice hack onto Krong to help secure the mech there. Now just trying to keep in this one. Sparkle going to go ahead and commit a grab. They've committed a nano boost onto Pelican to see if he can maybe make a bit of a play. Doa does commit the EMP just to secure it. Might not have even been necessary, but who cares, man? All's well that ends well. And as that progress ticks up, Kaiser will die a second time, and it will be Element Mystic poised to secure King's Row and tie up our series.
And that's all you need. Element Mystic just have this win condition in their hands. They're saying, if we only need to win one fight, if we only need to cap the first point after completing a full hold on our own defense, relying on the EMP is one of the easiest ways to achieve that goal. And guess what? You're not some team that is like, okay, let's play the Sombra when we don't usually play it. This is the Sombra-based team anyway. They're very happy to continue playing this kind of game, getting that one EMP, winning off that one EMP, and collecting that map victory. It's not been very long since we were on Lee Jung, and it's already 1-1 apiece.
I mean, I would have even said, right, it wasn't only the EMP. The fact that they also just got an entry kill, they really put O2 Blast sorely on the back foot, and they just had so much else to go off, and that's the reality with Element Mystic. It's not just Doha when all is said and done. This entire team is such a powerhouse.
That early kill to Kaiser, that's the one we're talking about here, and you look back at Myeonbong as well, you look at the nano boost and you're thinking, is this it? Is this where you have to commit it already? We haven't even gotten into a big EMP fight yet. We haven't really even gone too far in the series. 1-1 apiece. Gonna go to another quick break here. When we come back, map number 3 for the Pacific Showdown.
Огонь по готовности!
welcome back to the Pacific Showdown here, and a very happy Overwatch anniversary to everyone. And what a way to celebrate the anniversary with the grand finals here of the Pacific Showdown, with O2 Blast taking on Element Mystic, now 1-1 apiece. It's looking pretty competitive, but can O2 Blast bounce back?
Yeah, that's the reality, right? It's certainly been interesting. I mean, it was interesting the moment O2 Blast took Lijiang Tower, but then Kings Row looked a little bit dicey, to say the least. So you're right, can O2 Blast turn it back around? Because this is still their match to win.
And it was a very concerning Kings Row because of how short it was. We didn't get to see points B or C. That was just an A completed hold into a one intent push coming from Element Mystic, as one-sided as you like. Kaiser basically didn't get to play the game, which has been the story of Kaiser. Every time we see him versus Element Mystic, they focus him down super hard. And the way that O2 Blast have been navigating around that is, if Kaiser is shut down, then you look at guys like Proper, you look at guys like Myeongbong, except the problem here is those two couldn't do anything either.
And that's the thing, right? O2 Blast, the threat of them is that there are so many angles that the potential play can come from. You're right. You usually shut down Kaiser. Proper will do something. Myeongbong will do something. Krong, if nothing else, does a great job of shutting down enemy playmakers. But suddenly all of those members aren't quite getting the same kind of mileage as they've been getting before. Like you said, Kaiser isn't even been allowed to play Overwatch.
And the thing is, when you start to look at how O2 Blast want to deal with Element Mystic, it is quite clear. They're drawing the line in sand here. It's going to be Krong, and it's going to be Pelican that are assigned to deal with Doha. It's almost like a 2 versus 1 assignment where Krong's going to fly at him. Maybe Pelican can find the stun as well. If that happens, that's actually an instant pick on him. But while that's happening, and maybe Doha's not going to get the biggest ult charge we're used to seeing, it's still going to be relatively, I don't know, comparable to every other Sombra we've seen to start with, but also that's 2 members that you have to take attention away. And while that's happening, the rest of the EM with Sparkle now on Zarya predominantly so far in the series are pushing in and taking advantage of that.
I also want to point out something here with regards to Myeongbong, because we've talked a bit about, you know, the Ana versus the Zenyatta in this situation. I think there's something we haven't really considered, and, you know, look, the Zen as a counter to the EMP, obviously that makes sense. If you're not running the Zen, your Lucio needs to have the sound barrier available. When we're talking about Doha, his ultimate charge is so fast, if you're not keeping him shut down, it's really hard for just a Lucio to keep pace with that. And I think that actually means they maybe need Myeongbong on the Zen, because honestly, he kind of can keep pace.
I will speak to the last time we saw O2 versus Element Mystic, which was just yesterday in the upper bracket. And in that series, we saw a lot more Myeongbong on the Ana. And while they did not win the series, they didn't take a map. Some of the maps that were more competitive, they actually were able to survive against the EMP coming through from Element Mystic anyway. And after surviving...
Element Mystic... what's that? Pulse. That's what it stands
Mystic
for.
Pulse.
EMP.
Bomb. No. But they were able to survive the EMP right off the back of that, still go into other resources like Proper on the Zarya to try and beam them down. The issue then is Sparkle on the Doomfist is something that is still a factor. Now, that hasn't been a factor just yet because he hasn't played it in the series, but I still think they can play the Ana, outplay the EMP just slightly. It's not like Doa's getting 5-6-man connections every time. Oftentimes, it's actually on about 3, maybe 4.
Which is, I mean, it's been enough. Let's say that much. But you're right. Like, I mean, no, it's this really tough thing to call, right? Because you do say maybe you want to be getting more out of that. You want to be getting bigger connection. But at the same time, when it's enough to win you the fights, does it really matter? However, when they're keeping a lid on Doha, when they're preventing too much gain from the EMP, then yeah, Force suddenly isn't enough. We're reminded of the fight on Night Markets where he got all 6 and there was just no contest.
Well, put it this way, they played against T1W, talking about O2 in this context, played against LGE Huya, and in those kind of matchups, you have an O2 side where it doesn't really matter if the EMP comes down. Those teams have played Sombra, have played a lot of Sombra, and the EMPs often do come down, not at the same rate, we'll admit, as Doha does, but when they do come, doesn't seem like O2 are that shaken up by it. They're able to just absorb that pressure, maybe backpedal just a bit, walk forward when the entry is available, and the people that are not caught in the EMP, guys like Proper even, will put a grab down, will do something to save the team. That just happened in our previous loser bracket finals, but something's just different. The way Element Mystic are able to jump on an EMP, the way they execute off that ability, it's just on another level.
And I mean, to speak to Proper there as well, oftentimes against other teams, when the team's got EMP'd, maybe Kaiser is caught in it and Proper is not. It's one or the other, but a couple of times already we've seen both get caught, and the few times where it's not been both get caught and the fight still goes the way of Element Mystic,
they're shutting down the members that are caught quickly enough that, you know, let's say it's Proper, who isn't caught, can't actually do all the work. He maybe doesn't have a nano boost to support him because Myeonbong got killed. He maybe can't quite finish charging up a grab, or by the time he's got it, the rest of his team is dead. So they're still able to de facto shut down the playmakers.
I think there's certainly still options available. Speaking of options, we're going to be choosing our next map. Number 3 will be Volskaya Industries.
Haven't been here for a while.
Certainly haven't. I mean, we've seen mostly Hanamura here, a little bit of Horizon, Lunar Colony, and finally off to Russia. And this is now
about as remote as the moon.
This is going to, oh, maybe. About as cold as the moon, maybe. This is where you'll be at least breaking this time. It's 1-1 apiece so far. Someone's going to be taking the lead on 2. Not quite match point yet. As a reminder, it's first to 4.
Crazy thing about the moon, it's cold, but you'll get a crazy sunburn. No atmosphere.
Yeah, there's no atmosphere, yes, right?
Yeah. That's how science works.
Even worse on Mars, there's radiation.
Yeah. I don't know why we're trying to colonize Mars. I don't know. It's just so inhospitable. But I don't know. Maybe that's what Russia's like too. I've never been there. If we can settle Russia, maybe we can handle Mars.
Like that looked like she was pointing to the ship. What is happening here,
Go
though?
there.
That's how you get off this planet. What we do see is it is going to be O2 Blast sticking on the 3-3. Still no Sparkle on the Doomfist. Hasn't required it. Element Mystic defending. Doha back on Sombra as you'd expect.
Yeah, they've kind of get to be pushed to that next level of pulling out the Doomfist. If this keeps working, they'll keep running it. O2 Blast, no one dead in the rotation just yet.
You always have to look at Doha and his ult charge. Where is it at? How much is he getting? Ooh. Unique, though, taking a bit of damage early.
Yeah, Krong went for a bump on Doha. Didn't really pay off. Everyone from Element Mystic regroups, and it's 60%. Krong taking damage exactly. Doha already up to 70% now even. Nice stun though!
That's huge.
That's brilliant. Now suddenly that ultimate charge he was getting is all for naught. Can O2 Blast continue this? They can as they find Alpha, and this is the execution they need. If you can just do it quick enough before Doha comes into play.
And that is a nice stylistic counter. What you see Element Mystic doing is they're waiting for EMP. The rest of the other 5 members just chilling on the high ground, waiting for the opportunity once the EMP's in play. Talk about the 2v1 assignment again. It's Pelican, it's Krong. If Pelican gets that first stun on, Krong runs at Doha, flies in space, uses everything that will take down Doha. That's exactly what happened. And O2, get that cap. Nice.
Now Doha does have an EMP, but remember what I said about Myeonbong and Zenyatta largely keeping pace. Unless Doha goes right now, Myeonbong's going to have this available. I think that window's now closed for Doha anyway.
EMP is a huge deal here. Despite dying, like you mentioned, EMP up and available. Sparkle to grab as well. There's a lot to counteract. 3-man connection.
And there's the answer from Myeonbong. It's the Transcendence. Nice shot from Alpha,
wow.
though. Transcendence still running, though, so they survive that. Kaiser, though, he will not. And now they start to clean up the rest of these members. And I said it before, this is just before Proper can really come into his playmaking potential.
And this is once again EMP into Shatter combo. It's connecting so fluidly, and for Alpha as well, just slamming that one down. That's going to save the point for Element Mystic. It was a 3 ultimate connection, 3 ultimates used. Reasonably expensive, but you'll kind of take it. Alpha just missing that charge.
That's the thing. This is where they can begin to anchor a defense. With the defensive ultimates, they'll charge up, and Doha's going to charge an EMP soon enough anyway.
The good news for O2 is they hold on to 4 out of 5 ults, then Krong will be getting one soon. Myeonbong did use Transcendence already. Pushing in now, see if Kaiser can do anything about this.
Alpha needs to stun. The Transcendence is going to come out from Undyne. Now Proper commits the grab when that's not available anymore, but still a sound barrier. Can Krong get something with the self-destruct? He can. He can fight Undyne. Now Element Mystic, unless it's a huge one from Doha. He's down to the Shatter. Brilliant placement by Kaiser there. That EMP could have otherwise maybe been a turnaround point. Now O2 Blast poised to finish this one out if they can just finish off these last few members trickling onto the point. Unique's going to go. Sparkle off to the side. They might be able to do this yet. They found Kaiser with it. Myeonbong Transcendence won't save Proper. He chooses to not use it. O2 Blast close but no cigar.
94.1%. You can see members trying to jump on the Unique dying super quick. Sparkle and Cesario with the bubble available, staying alive for much longer, allowing Doha to get in with the EMP. Once the EMP goes off, once again Alpha slams down the hammer, and it's going to be another huge connection. Earthshatter plus EMP doing so much for this team of Element Mystic, saving that point again, but it'll be the last time they can rely on last-minute plays, because 2 ticks now given away to O2 Blast. They are looking to go for another retake.
They get one more good push, and they've got it. Early grab out from Sparkle. It's Myeonbong's Transcendence. Element Mystic taking a 1-for-1 trade there.
Cap pressure's really big, by the way. OWC is running straight for it. Alpha already down.
They move for a back cap and it's put their heat on Element Mystic, so now O2 Blast, Krong is low, might get Z-Max, in fact will, but they're still ahead in this fight. Nice cap on Doha there. When I say cap, I mean the head. O2 Blast look like they're going to be able to get this one over the line with plenty of time in the bank.
And they get Doha as he's about to reach another EMP. You'd assume after a couple more seconds it will be in play. Alpha, 96 as well, the same combo they can rely on. So close to being executed. That might have saved the point one more time, but off the back of successful point pressure, this is from the previous push. They got 2 ticks on the board. They run directly towards the point. Yes, Sparkle traps them in a bit of a Graviton surge. The members that are not trapped there just dive for the cap because the cap needs to be defended. As soon as it happens, EM have to split their attention. Do you go for the Grav members and try to secure those? Do you go for the point instead and defend that? Well, realistically, you got to go for both, which means you can't successfully do both exactly the way you want to. Grav not successful out of Sparkle at the end of the day, and Element Mystic, unfortunately, put too many. They had to put all the fingers in all the pies, and well, not happening for them.
Yeah, I mean, you know, were they trying to get a grab to get some kills, or were they trying to get a grab just to get Myeonbong's Transcendence, in which case, what were they wanting to pivot into later on in the fight? But you've got to say, regardless as to what Element Mystic's plan was there, O2 Blast did just play the situation better, and now, like I said, lots of time in the bank, so it's on Element Mystic to at least match that going into time bank and then maybe turn things back around.
That's actually a really decent win for O2 Blast. Again, that opening take on A, absolutely beautifully executed. They knew what the game plan for EM was, so they found out the member they needed to, and they tried to do that on King's Row unsuccessfully, but doing so on Volskaya, the respawn distance so long, you don't have an Element Mystic squad that can just back all the members up once that happens, and so early on as well during the neutral, just means they get a free A, and they give them a lot of time to work with going into B. Quick 2 ticks taken on that B point as well, allowing them to lean into objective pressure, and 3 minutes and 58 seconds of time back. Very good.
Plenty of time. Really knew how to use all the time they had on B as well, and see if their defense can be equally as successful, if they can maybe start pushing a lead in this series again.
You gotta see now the long flank from Element Mystic on the side. Doha will probably be on an off angle somewhere, looking for extra damage, already looking at about 20%.
Farming that bad boy up, as per usual. O2 Blast trying to get some pressure on Element Mystic in the rotation.
Oh, Doha!
If they can finish him off, that would be good, but they've found the translocate at least. They slow him down a little bit.
You're still looking for Element Mystic. Where do they want to go around here? Because O2 Blast should be getting aggressive. High ground being taken now for the side of EM, and Doha reaching that 60% mark.
By the time he gets there, Myeonbong can keep pace. They might be in the business, but he's just that little bit behind.
Looking at time is on nearly 1 minute expended. Neither team is really committed to a fight just yet, 70% and counting. Look at the angles as well, so many angles that Element Mystic are able to take.
Doha feels like it's only a matter of time here, and Myeonbong hasn't charged up much more of that Transcendence since we last checked in with him. So, looks like EMP will be the Alpha and Omega here.
As it always has been, it's available now. They should be looking to go in. O2 Blast have nothing.
There it is, right on top of the lot. Immediately catching Kaiser. Doha taking some heat, but nowhere near enough. They want to finish off a few more members, though. They haven't quite found them, but Pelican down at last minute. So Valiant, O2 Blast, I think they're just going to take this one on the chin. Happy to charge up some ultimates to start anchoring a B defense.
And you see O2 Blast as well. Ultimates are starting to come online now, and they die in the order that the ultimates do come online. It's Kaiser first, Pelican second. Those were the 2 ultimates first, and we're already on to B. Element Mystic is wasting no time.
This is absolutely brilliant. While they're still capping, but Kaiser's Earth Shatter out, not followed up on. Pelican's down! Myeonbong doesn't keep them alive. Grav's got to be the one, but nice sound barrier.
Watch Doha
from Unique. Proppers picked. Mandu's sound barrier didn't get the same mileage, and Krong's self-destruct won't do it. That is so devastating from Element Mystic.
Oh, look at that. Should be a full cap up pretty soon. If it's not Doha, we'll have the EMP again. Sparkle now finally on the doofus. Element Mystic want to shut the door.
Pelican's rolling out of the doofus as well, just so that they can get on the point, but it's not going to last for him as he gets hacked out from that EMP. O2 Blast really not making any kind of defense here. And we went Element Mystic need to get a good time in the time back. Well, how do you like 5.5 minutes?
That's insane. That is one of the quickest times we have seen overall. A 2:30 offense. That's could be a
so
record breaker.
fast.
Somebody's going to check that one. You just run straight for that B point, and they're able to just kind of stagger through. A lot of the members that are slowly backing out, you see the rest of O2 Blast as they limp away from the A point, just keeping themselves alive as long as they can, and EM chasing them all down, leaving one member to cap, and collecting as many as they can, and you already have staggered. Just staggered respawns as B is underway. Doha, meanwhile, is doing such insane damage. He's got another EMP in that same fight that they are pushing onto B.
It's nuts. Let's talk about the risk there, because you do have to lead that one person back to cap. If it goes wrong for you while you're pushing forward, you suddenly arrive in a 5 versus 6. But Element Mystic's execution so exceptional on that. And I think even the Element Mystic of surprise might have helped them a tad.
They didn't have 6 though. O2 Blast was still retreating.
Exactly.
They were waiting for respawners, so it was like 5 members chasing.
Great opportunity.
A few guys just straggling back to the back to the B point, and just never had a full reset for the side of O2. I mean, this isn't the new assault rules. We're still in the old one where you just have to wait for the team to come back, and there's no waiting allowed. Element Mystic want to go forward.
Like I said, great to recognize the opportunity. A lot of teams would have taken the more conservative approach, but not Element Mystic, and they are rewarded for it with a massive time back. More than a minute and a half over O2 Blast here.
2:31 was the total time to take both A and B for Element Mystic. A lot of that time was actually spent on A itself, over 1 minute, just waiting for the first EMP. You can imagine if that was quicker, this would be a world record.
O2 Blast. Just under 4 minutes is still plenty of time, though, to double cap. They were able to do it previously.
So think about how they got this last time. They found Doha on a flank. Pelican and Krong assigned to take him down. Unique now looking for a potential boot.
Doesn't quite find what they were after. Does farming up that ultimate. They haven't quite been able to shut him out just yet.
And Doha sitting on 40% now.
Bong. Ooh, Myeonbong gets found out. That's rough. O2 Blast are going to get run down here as they try and retreat. This is a good start for Element Mystic on the defense.
And this is before any EMPs or any other ultimates are even in play. You're going to charge everyone else's. Huge pick, 6v5. O2 Blast caught in the middle, caught their pants down, and Element Mystic happy to pick up the pieces.
And just when you thought it was Krong taking the heat, Undyne just kind of threads the needle there to find his counterpart in Myeonbong. So Element Mystic now leaning into those ultimates. It's going to be a little bit tougher this time around for O2 Blast.
And in the conversation of amazing flex supports this tournament, we talked about a few Undynes on that list as well, make no mistake about it. If Element Mystic now have the EMP available, O2 Blast Nightmare scenario, they have to push into this, and they have nothing. No defense, no ultimates, just gotta walk in.
Yeah, like not even close, right? Fastest charger here is Proper. He's only at 60%. The lowest on Element Mystic is 53% on Hunben. So that's the lead that they've gotten themselves off to.
And look at Alpha as well, nearly on an Earth Shatter. That's the combo again. EMP into Earth Shatter. It connects so well. Now he has it.
And it's just member after member takes damage. Kaiser goes in, trying to get a cheeky charge, and yeah, totally shut down. EMP as well. Not even going to need the Shatter combo with it. Nice catch on Sparkle though. Proper might not be long for this world, especially not with the rest of his team dead. There it goes.
I think for O2 Blast, they'd be happy just to get a couple ultimates out. One more than the EMP would be ideal. If they got Alpha Shatter as well, that would have been fantastic, despite losing. But still 5 ultimates, and the 6th one is going to be Doha's EMP, which he's just going to get again, you'd expect very quickly. If he doesn't, well, you lean into the other 5.
O2 Blast themselves will have a lot of ultimates to work with here, but you're right, the EMP is kind of the X factor. If it ever doesn't come up, Element Mystic might just have more than enough anyway.
So O2 Blast need to wait a little bit now. They just coming up to a few ultimates. Should be the defense from Myeonbong. There it is.
Easy hold for the time being. Now Element Mystic looking to leverage into the Earth Shatter. Don't really get anyone with that. So O2 Blast, they do have an opportunity. EMP will be here soon. Transcendence to answer Proper's grab. Mandu's got a sound barrier as well. That won't be available if the EMP comes out, which here it is. Brilliant connection, all 6 members. No more ultimates for O2 Blast. No, sir. As Element Mystic are going to again clean up without breaking a sweat.
And just in time to cancel out the effects of the sound barrier as well. Mandu dropped it in there, helping his own team out, pushing the HP bars up, and Doha sitting on 96%. It's like, wait 1 second here, because you're not going to have that ultimate in just a moment. In fact, nobody gets anything. 6-man connection, you forgot Doha existed. He's here to remind you.
And we were talking up O2 Blast after their original attack with such a good time back. Then Element Mystic flipped that script and now might just full holds here, except for that 40.1%, which should be easy enough for them to take. Can O2 Blast make anything happen here? Self-destruct, not gonna do it. Kaiser's still got a Shatter.
And that's got to be key here. Sparkle nearly on a grab. Other than that, no ultimates for Element Mystic just yet. O2 Blast got to find something.
We're going to make the move in now as Element Mystic. The grab to come out. Counter Shatter goes straight into Alpha Shield. They're cleaning up. They've managed to find them. They do get that extra bit of percentage, which might help their defense, but it's going to be a long defense ahead for O2 Blasters. Myeonbong's Transcendence runs out. He'll get finished off. 92.3%. It's all Element Mystic need to take the lead in this series.
And it was a Hail Mary play from Kaiser as well, looking for any opportunity, knowing, okay, this is it. Sparkle has used grab. If I land a Shatter here, we can maybe still save the game. Alpha's a little bit too clever though, pulls up the shield just in time, looking in the right direction, saying, no, Kaiser, not today. This isn't going to be the game that you will win. And Volskaya Industries now tipping ever so forward in favor of Element Mystic. Alpha's like, yep, that's me. I'm the main tank now.
Hey, sometimes the eye of the Kaiser isn't 2020, all right? But it could have been, right? That could have been another one for the highlight reel for Kaiser. Not so. If Alpha has anything to say about it. Main tank really giving Kaiser a run for his money here. And like I said, now Element Mystic on the cusp of taking the lead in this series, which means they will have completely undone the damage that happened on Volskaya. Sorry, on Lijiang Tower, rather.
And you look at the scoreline for this so far, it's 1-1, but into this map, you are expecting Volskaya to go the way of Element Mystic, especially when O2 Blast can't actually win this anymore. It's going to be a draw scenario where the best
they can win. If they full hold, they win. On A. Yeah, so they've got some caps, so if they full hold, they do win.
Oh, they did get some cap, my bad. Yeah, that is true. They did. I was assuming they hadn't gotten any cap, but I forgot. They
Felt
did
that
get
way,
some,
right?
They did get some cap. Well, certainly did, because they just had a lot of fights that just didn't do anything. So you're right, they do still have an opportunity, but they have to do so with 5 minutes and 29 seconds worth of hold here, 92.3. It feels like one fight though, because again, the respawn distance is so far away for the O2 Blast defense. Well, if you lose a member, he's probably not going to come back in time.
That's the thing, that percentage that O2 Blast got there wasn't because they were winning the fight, it was because Element Mystic had to back up and take space. Because they really got much more so. One fight territory here for Element Mystic. Doha already at 30%.
And they're already pushing the point. Look at the cap slowly creeping up. They're forcing O2 Blast to come down and meet them, and that's going to give Doha some flank potential.
And O2 Blast are already low as they're coming down to meet them. They're just constantly on the back foot, but Sparkle getting some pressure out. They can maybe find a tick here. A pick
70%?
rather. This is absolutely nuts from Doha. They found Pelican already as well, so no, it's not going to be O2 Blast running down a member. They might just finish this off before Doha even gets EMP. Alpha's Shatter is absolutely immense, and the gong rings out. Team kill before EMP even becomes available. Element Mystic going to close out Volskaya Industries now 2-1 up in the series.
And it seems like a race between Doha and the rest of this team, between can I get my EMP or will my team just win the game? And I want to break down exactly how Element Mystic were able to force O2 directly into their hands. You see O2 on the high ground, not really giving Doha too much space to work with to start with, but at the same time, as soon as Element Mystic start pressuring the cap away, O2's like, well, we got to contest this one. They start dropping to the point itself. That high ground that O2 were holding now is completely open up for Doha, who's going on there, gets the off angle, gets the damage in there, starts going rapidly, charging his own ultimate. While that's happening, it's a 6v6 where Doha has damage Alpha because he's not going into the shield. If that wasn't enough, the EMP probably would have ended it. Speaking of ending, though, this will be Map 3 done and dusted. Map 4 will be coming up soon, right after this break.
Огонь по готовности!